Tachymeria capensis or red cape honeysuckle is an attractive ornamental garden plant, and it is used normally for decorative purposes, or it can be also trimmed as a hedge. It can grow up to 8 feet in height. It's an evergreen plant in warm regions, and in cold areas, it may drop some leaves, but it survives up till freezing point. It normally blooms in fall and winters, but sometimes, I have seen these plants blooming all year long. The flower is kind of trumpet shaped, so it attracts a hummingbird for sure. The flowers can be found in many colors, although I have only seen orangish and reddish. It can be planted in partial sun or full sun. So today I am going to show you how to propagate it from its cuttings. So here I have a big cutting that I took last night and I kept it in water so that it stays hydrated. And now I'm going to make small cuttings from it. And this big cutting is really woody. So you have to use a big cutter to cut the branches. So make, about 4 to 5 inches tall cuttings. I think these are sufficient. So now just snip off all the branches on the top. Just leave at least one branch with a few leaves. That's all. And this looks pretty long to me, so I'm just going to cut it again. So it should be like 4 or 5 inches long. So just repeat the same process with all the cuttings, remove all the extra leaves, just leave a few leaves on the top and make sure that it is no longer than 4 to 5 inches. Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so now so that you don't miss out on any new videos that come up. So the cuttings are ready now. So I'm going to take out rooting hormone. It helps in the propagation from the cuttings. So here is my planter where I'll plant all these cuttings. It has mostly coco peat and a little bit of perlite. Coco peat, keeps the medium moist for a long time. So now I'm going to take each of these cuttings, and because they are very woody, so you want to scratch the bottom of each cutting and then dip it in rooting hormone. Just make sure that all the exposed area of the cutting is covered with rooting hormone, and then you make a hole in the potting medium and put it in there and just press it to remove any air pockets and to support it, and repeat the same process with all the cuttings. So scratching the woody stems helps in the growth of the roots. And also some people use turmeric powder, cinnamon powder, or honey instead of rooting hormone, but I have never tried those. So I'm going to water these stems thoroughly, and I'm going to cover it with this clear plastic bag so that whatever water evaporates, it stays within that bag and keeps the stems humid. And I'll keep misting it every once in a while, and as they start to grow, I'll keep you posted. It's been 3 weeks. These cuttings have been lying outside in the garden tent, and then on top I have this plastic bag, and you can see there are water droplets to keep the whole thing humid. And look at these cuttings. Just because they have green leaves, you can't be sure that they are still alive, because many times these woody cuttings, they have a lot of energy and they can keep producing leaves for a very long time, but that doesn't mean that they have developed roots. So we still have to wait and watch. But uh, to some extent, at least they are not dried up, so I'm happy about that. It's been a few months now, and they're growing so nicely. You can see all these fresh leaves. Now there are a few cuttings which didn't make it. For example, if I take out this one, it has no root, it's completely dry. And I think this is the same. No root and no leaves. I think even this one. But if you look at others, like this, there's so many fresh leaves here also. I think this is another one. So I removed 4 and 5, and remaining are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So out of 10, 5 have grown and they're doing really well. I can see so many fresh leaves. Now I have no doubt in my mind that, these cuttings have survived. So 50% survival rate in home gardening is pretty good. And now these plants are basically ready to be transplanted. But the problem is now it's already fall, and I don't want to transplant them now because, in winters they may not survive after transplantation. So I'm going to hold off, and in springtime I will transplant them. And these have been sitting outside in partial sun. Once the leaves started to grow, I moved them in partial sun, and they are doing just fine there. So it's pretty straightforward to grow Cape honeysuckle from cuttings. You take the cuttings, dip them in rooting hormone, plant them, keep them in a shaded area, keep the soil moist, and slowly they'll start to grow. It takes time, but they will start to grow. And one more thing, once the leaves start to appear, you may want to add some liquid fertilizer to the planter, because we had taken just cocoa peat, and if you keep the stems there and don't give it any fertilizer, cocoa peat doesn't have any nutrients, so they may not grow very well. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.